starting my speech within 1, 2, 3 years. As the opposition of this debate, I oppose the House to erase society memory of the crime committed by the offender after terrorist progression, as this action can be seen as immoral or non-ethical by the offender family or in general public in general. The affirmative side of the proposition of this debate argue that victims of the crime are more likely to remember what the perpetrators did and that they continuously blame them, especially the one who got physical or verbal abuse, and thus they got trauma from the said abuse. Well, I know there are many people that are still affected by this daily, but you have to remember that these emotions are actually emotion that are actually kind of helps the victim to work at their trauma, and in this case could fight back against those emotions again if the victims encounter similar case or feelings. But now I will present my argument against this case. First, from the motion we know that this particular technology would erase one's memory that the perpetrator committed. But what if the crime in question is not that serious? What I mean is that simple crimes such as stealing an exam considered to be a light crime, and the effect of the crime is not that devastating. Secondly, this technology exists for the reason of mainly treating victims that is likely is embedded with physiological damage and such as trauma and such. If the victim did not feel some sort of physiological damage or the crime did not have anything to do with that is connected to physiological damage, and this technology could be considered useless in many cases. Third, it is said that this technology would release society's memory of the crime, but the thing is that memory could be useful. What I mean is, if the victim in the future encounters similar situation, then the victim can use those memory of the past to help themselves to get out of the situation. 4. Erasing someone's memory could violate human rights because human by nature learn from experience. Having their memory removed could also mean that the victim of the crime could not recognize that crime is a threat by removing those memory. The victim would not know it. Also, why should this technology remove victims' memory of the crime after the perpetration was released from the prison? Is it better to erase the offender memory instead of the crime rather than the victim of the memory of the crime? And also, as stated in the motion, that this technology works by the time the offender was released from the prison. But what if the offender was being punished by different methods? Is still technology still work? I raise my case.